everybody. So today is day 2 of week 3, and we will be going over some gentle twists and Savasana, which is also known as corpse pose. Really key elements to take away from today's practice are that twists are typically done at the end of a sequence of perhaps some sun salutations, standing poses, core work, and then typically we end with twists so that we can kind of rinse out our body and reintegrate. Twists are very supportive of our spine's natural range of motion, which we learn about in the 6 directions of the spine. Twists help cleanse our internal organs, and twists are really great at stimulating circulation and promoting our immune function. And then finally, Shavasana, we will practice. It's typically suggested that we can find the most benefit from Shavasana when it's practiced for 10 minutes. It's like a lying down meditation, essentially. Today, I'll guide you through a body scan. And really, the yogic principles in Shavasana are all about surrender, non attachment, and self awareness. Just noticing our body in space and the sensations that we're feeling in our bodies. So, if you want to practice this video after you've done some sun salutations or some standing poses, that would probably be really beneficial, but you can also practice this before bed. I find that sometimes twists and shavasana are a really great way to decompress and ground oneself before bed. So let's get started by coming to our mats. And we'll just begin with some gentle twists. And before we begin, I want to suggest to you all that you perhaps have a blanket again today and or a pillow that will support you in twist possibly, but most likely in Shavasana. Okay, so for our first twist, we will just slowly and gently come down on our mat and come on to our backs. So your feet will first be planted firmly on the floor. Just notice the sensation of your hips on the mat. You can even place your hands on your hips just to notice where your pelvis is in space. And then we'll bring our right knee in toward our torso, and you can extend that left leg. And you'll feel perhaps a little bit of a stretch in your left hip in this position. Let's take one breath in and then let it go. We'll take one more breath in and we'll slowly rotate our right leg over our torso. And this is our first twist. If you like, you can take your blanket and just place it as a prop to put underneath your knee. It might be a little more supportive than having your knee dangling, because ideally now we'll spread our arms out into a T shape. And both hands will be on the floor, and both shoulders will be on the floor as well, if that's accessible in your range of motion. And you can choose to look over your right shoulder. If that doesn't feel right in your neck, you can just look directly up at the sky. And you can close your eyes here if you would like. We'll stay here for 5 breaths. Now on an inhale, we'll bring our leg back up to center. You have to scoot your hips just a touch so that they are aligned onto the floor again. Then we'll bring up the left knee to meet it. You can give yourself a gentle squeeze. Maybe you'll even bring your head towards your knees. Now we'll place both feet back on the floor. Just notice now again where your body meets the floor. See if you can notice a difference between the sides of your body. Now let's bring our left knee in toward our body and stretch out our right leg. Take one deep breath here. Inhale, exhale, and then we'll inhale. And as we exhale, draw that left knee across your body. You may need to just scooch your right hip under a little bit. And if you choose to have that more supportive version, you can place a blanket under that left knee. And both shoulders ideally will be touching the mat or the floor here. Arms are in a T shape. And you can choose to look over your left shoulder if you like. If that doesn't feel right in your neck, no big deal. You can look toward the sky. Close your eyes if you like. We'll be here for 5 breaths. And then inhale. We'll draw that leg back up to center. And we'll bring both knees in. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe you even bring your forehead towards your knees. And now we'll bring both feet back to the earth. Let's start by picking up our right foot and just placing our ankle on top of our left knee. Some of you may be familiar with this as figure 4. If you don't feel much of a stretch in your hip, you can lift that left foot off the floor. And you can just hold it here. You can hold your left knee with your left hand, or perhaps you even thread the needle by taking your right hand through that triangular hole, and you'll grasp your knee with both hands and keep your toes flexed back towards your knee to protect the knee here. And you should feel a stretch in your right hip in this pose. Let's take 3 breaths here in figure 4, and whatever modification is comfortable for your body. Okay, now we'll breathe in. Maybe you bring both legs towards the sky, wiggle your toes, and we'll bring both feet back to the floor. Now cross your left ankle over the right knee. Maybe this is where you stay. Or perhaps you lift that right foot, hold your right knee with your right hand. If you want an even deeper stretch, you might thread the needle by bringing your left hand through the opening between your legs, and you'll just gently hold that right knee. And again, flex your left toes to protect that left knee. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Okay, and just release. I usually crack after that in my knees. Just wiggle out your toes, your feet, point and flex, point and flex. And we'll bring both feet back to the mat. Now we're going to prepare for Savasana. Maybe you just want to windshield wiper those hips before we move into this final resting pose. So Shavasana, as I said earlier, is all about surrender and becoming heavy and letting go of whatever just happened and coming into this present moment. So we need to make sure that we are in a pose that's comfortable. So perhaps you take a blanket sort of rolled into a bolster shape, or maybe you take a pillow and place it under your knees for a little extra support. So just play around with what feels best to you, because you will be lying here on your mat for a little while. I don't think we will practice the full 10 minutes, but please take that time to practice on your own, just so you can have the full experience. In this video, it's a little bit harder to practice the full 10 minutes together because of the twist we already practiced. So coming into this Savasana pose, our feet are about hip width apart. Our shoulders are just resting against the mat. Notice that you start feeling a little bit heavier. Just notice the feeling of where the back of your head meets the mat or the floor. See if you can relax your jaw. Perhaps you relax your tongue enough that it does not touch the roof of your mouth. Just let it recede back into your throat. Relax your forehead and the muscles around your eyes. Let your shoulders feel heavy. Notice the feeling of where your arms and your hands meet the floor or the mat. Let them be heavy. Notice your neck and your collarbones, the beating of your heart, your ribs and sides as you breathe in and out. Notice your hips, your lower back where it meets the floor. Let that whole torso be heavy. Notice your thighs, your knees, the back of your thighs, the fronts of your lower leg, your calf muscles. Let them be heavy. And notice the feeling of your feet, the balls of your feet, all of your toes. Just let them go. Now do your best to just feel yourself surrender to this moment. If a thought comes into your mind, that's okay. Perhaps you can notice and even say to yourself, just thinking, just a thought, and let it go as though it were a bubble just floating away. If you'd like to stay in Savasana longer, I'm going to welcome you to do so. Take your time. You'll slowly blink your eyes open whenever you're ready. You're more than welcome to practice a longer, extended version of Savasana. And every day going forward, it can be really helpful in your practice. So I wish you all well. Thank you so much. Namaste.